Welcome in. This is the December 3rd, first episode in December of Manic and Chill. Shane, it is week 14, last week of the regular season. I love the title this week. It never gets old watching the Jim Mora clip.
No, never.
Playoffs. You kidding me? I mean, one of the greatest clips ever. I'm sure you've seen it if you're a football fan, but it really just kind of summarizes how I feel about a lot of my teams. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight, the chase for the playoffs. Probably touch on trade deadline and non-trade deadline strategy. As much as we don't like trade deadlines, there are a lot of people that have them. So we'll talk about how much to push in given the variance. Brandon and I did a good episode the other night on Takeaways talking just about variance and how, like you can't escape it. If you have a trade deadline, you still have 4 games after this week and you can't trade your way out of it.
But I mean, that's why you try to buy your way out of variance, right? As much as possible, because you want to eliminate 1 week of playoffs where there's a chance variance can kick you in the nuts. You want to delay that for 1 week. You know what I mean? So yeah.
And it's a different strategy if you can play it week to week versus you have to commit today. We just did a review where the trade deadline was week 14.
Week 14, yep.
Some are right before week 15 games start. Some have already passed, which is unfortunate. But if you have one coming up, a lot of sleepers, I think, are week 14. So we'll talk a little about things to do maybe over the next couple days. No Trinity show this week yet, but tentatively for the members out there, Ray and I are planning on doing the Trinity show sometime tomorrow. Little travel arrangements that Ray's had working this week. So hopefully we're back tomorrow sometime during the day, but we'll put it out there. Any of the members, if you want to become a member, $3.99 a month, you get Shane and I on the Dynasty Deal Show, which is our trade show on Friday nights.
You do.
But you also get the Trinity show live tomorrow. So link in the description if you want to join. It's only $3.99 a month. Help support the channel. And then roster reviews, QR codes there. We just finished up one right before we got on here. So if you want a roster review for the stretch run into the off season, hit us up, scan the QR code. We'll do a roster review for you, either live or recorded. So let's talk about playoffs, Shane. Are you kidding me? What's your response? Are you kidding me? Where are your teams? Dude, how many of them are you really like, you think you have to make a move this week?
Oh, how many do I have to make a move? There are only, and this is, I am a pessimist. I don't want to say I'm a pessimist by nature, right? But so what I did on Sleeper is I sorted my teams. All the teams are already in the playoffs, locked in, all that good stuff, right? So that's like 15 teams. So then I went and grabbed the other teams that I'm the 6th seed right now, right? I'm either the 6th seed or the 4 seed, but that could fall to 7, right? Like the ones that like you probably need to win at least one of your games, if not both of your games, or if it's just one game, one of your games. And I think I had like 4 of those. So that's where I'm at. Like most of my playoff teams it's decided, right? I'm either in or I'm out. There's just a couple floaters sitting out there. And those are the ones that I want to buy in. And it just so happens that in those specific leagues, it is damn near impossible to freaking trade. Absolutely almost impossible to trade. And
what's the reason for that? Is it players are just gridlocked on all the teams that don't want to trade them? Or what do you suspect is the
I
reason?
would say part of it is I'm probably a little over aggressive. That's probably it, right? So my level of like what I think is a good level of trading is probably different from other people's, right? Like if I don't see a trade, I don't know, like every 3 days, I'm like, this league's dead, whereas most leagues, it's probably like once a week's probably sufficient. But I will say, and there's a couple leagues, one league where I kind of boxed myself into a corner where I don't have anything left to really sell. I mean, I have things to sell, but I don't have things that I want to part with. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to get creative. It's like, how do I split, just for an example, how do I split Jamar Chase into 2 really good starters? Is there a way to do this without killing myself long term? But for the most part, most of my rosters are decided. I'll just jump on Sleeper now, most of the leagues are decided as far as if I'm going to get in or not. And even out of those, I think it was 4 or 5. I think it might be 6. I don't know. It's like 4 or 5. It's somewhere in the neighborhood of 4 to 6 where it's pending. Even with those, there's a couple that, like, unless of an absolute collapse, I'll get into the playoffs. But, that's one of those things you do for my own psychological benefit, so that when I wake up Tuesday morning, I can move like 3 of them to the playoff pile and feel better about life.
It's like the holiday shopping conundrum. Like, I have some money in my bank account, but
exactly
everything I see, I don't want to spend money on it. I wish I could just get it without really having to put in any work or give up anything. So, yeah, I think we definitely approach trades differently. I know our co-managed league, the old DD Kings, Shane, we're in the playoffs still.
Are we in the playoffs? I don't understand.
It's based on points. So there's
okay. So our
teams.
Points. Yeah, we're like 4th overall in points.
We are. So I believe we are. Let me look right now. This is not great podcasting, but we are in our division. We are 4th in points.
Okay.
And then if you looked at the other division, we would actually be 3rd in points in that division. So technically we're in 6th place
because of points.
But there is a team that is 10 points behind us. There is a team that is 24 points behind us. There is another team that is 10 points behind us. And then another team that is 18 points behind us. So there are 4 teams within 24 points, and 2 of them will make the playoffs. So I'm not sure if you've looked at our lineup, but slated for our starting receivers this week are Tez Johnson, Keenan Allen, and we are begging Jaden Reed comes off IR so we can start him.
So we need to trade for.
And in our flex, we have Olamide Zacchaeus, who has like 2 targets in the last month.
And how different is that from most of the weeks for our starting wide receivers? It's not wildly different.
Correct. But most of the other weeks, we also had Jackson Dart, Rico Dowdle, Ramondre Stevenson some weeks. And our wide receiver 2 on the year, Keyshawn Boutte, is also on a bye. So, and Theo Johnson is on a bye. So we're not a great week for some of those buys. We need to find a starter. I would feel comfortable with, first of all, Jaden Reed may not come back.
No, I've counted him out. I mean, we might talk about players that you want to kind of buy. That would not be a player that I buy for my playoff run because I legitimately don't know if we're going to see him this year. I haven't heard anything about them opening up his practice window.
And I'd rather not start Olamide Zacchaeus in a flex. Now, if we have to throw him in at receiver, fine. But Mr. Zacchaeus has a total of 6.9 points over the last month. So usually a good sign for a spike week.
I don't want to make you feel bad, but there was that week where neither of us updated our roster and we left, I forget who in at the quarterback position instead of playing.
We have Geno Smith, who's questionable this week. He faces the Broncos, who have the 2nd best defense in the league, and he's also in our starting lineup. So
Probably not great.
The Geno Smith, I don't know. What are we going to get out of him against Denver? Are we going to get 9 points? Maybe?
No, you know what? That feels like one of those games Geno's going to be parked on your bench and just fucking go nuts. He'll drop 40 points because absolutely no one expects it. Yeah. That's how it goes sometimes, right? So if
you're in that league, if anybody's in that league, Shane and I will buy. We have somehow, I think it's just because we have other teams and we're doing content. Like, we've actually not traded any pick, Shane. We have 2 seconds and our 1st and 2 thirds. So,
okay. Well, guess what?
We have a couple cheap pieces. We could buy a couple starters if we wanted. So if you're in that league, DD Fantasy Kings, it's like 10 people from the Discord. Hit us up. We will buy.
So, that's a different trade. Yeah, I have that league in the not even close to the playoffs bucket. So let's go.
Well, because it's 12 and 14. I'm pretty sure we've had 1 week where we've actually won against the median and our head-to-head.
But we've run into high scores every week. I mean, that's just one of the things that happens.
Put it this way. It's not a team where I probably want to trade our 1st. I actually liked our build, but it was probably a year out.
Yeah.
And we do ourselves a better service, Shane, by not making the playoffs, actually. You know what I mean?
What fun is that?
It's not.
Exactly.
It's not. And I think the best we could get would be like, let's see, our max points would be for non-playoff teams. Yeah, we've had the 3rd most points against. So our max points is not going to help us. We're going to get the worst pick that's not in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So we're getting the 107. So, yeah. Anyway.
Anywho. Anywho, no one cares about our fantasy teams except for that.
Well, no, but that's what we're
point.
doing. I mean, when you said that your trades are probably a little overly aggressive, I'm been the opposite. So I've been looking at, obviously week 14 is huge for bye weeks, right? I mean, not huge, but there's some significant bye weeks in week 14. I mean, you have the Patriots who, for as frustrating as the Patriots have been a little bit here and there, like it has been a team where you've probably been able to start 3 or 4 guys across the year plus Drake May. So that's a big loss. The Giants, same thing. Like you're probably starting a couple Giants at this point.
Even if you don't know it. No,
the Niners, like they're each of these teams has like 3 or 4 players that, especially in a lot of our leagues, like you've been relying on probably starting. And then the Panthers have a couple. You're probably starting the Panthers running backs and then Tet. But it's a week where I've felt the bye weeks, especially knowing you have to win. Maybe it's just like week 9, you don't feel the bye week as much because you just get over it. Here, it's like, dude, I'm a game behind. I have to win, and I need this other team to lose. Or I need to make sure, the more important thing is I need to make sure I beat the median, because if I beat the median and then the other team doesn't, I'm going to get in. Like you might need a couple starters. I have a couple teams where I'm like, damn, I've been flexing Hunter Henry in a 2 PPR and now I can't. I've been starting Rico Dowdle and now I can't. Like those are big losses. How do you address that when it's super, super short term?
Well, I mean, Rico Dowdle took himself out of your lineup, to be honest with you, letting Chuba Hubbard pass him. But as you're talking about this kind of goes to my point, and it's always been my philosophy, right? It's like I don't like waiting on trades for this reason, because I don't want to be in a position where it's like, shit, I have to win this week and I need to outscore the other team by 30 points to get into the playoffs. I need to win and help. You know what I mean? If I had won earlier in the season, I wouldn't have to worry about this. All I needed is one more win, right? So maybe I should have made deals earlier in the season to get those one more wins. But it is a fine line, because then you get to this point, and I am here in that point with a couple leagues where my teams are really good. I'm the 1, 2, or 3 seed. I can't buy shit. I cannot buy a thing. You know what I mean? Like I shot that wad, that load is gone. So it's that dichotomy, or that's not the right word, but there's a trying to figure out which way to go. But
so do you mean like your team's kind of capped out and you don't feel like it's enough, but you can't get off of whatever you have to upgrade, or like expand on that a little bit? Because I think if you're the 2 seed, like I guess when I'm the 2 seed, especially if I'm a 1 or a 2 seed and I know I'm going to get a bye, yeah, I want my team to be dominant, but I've done my job.
Yeah.
I'm the 2 seed. I got a bye. That's like kind of the best I can ask for. If I have some flexibility and I don't have a trade deadline, then I'm probably going to wait out another week or 2 to see if I need something. Because the beauty is, if I have a bye locked up, I think I have like 7 teams that already have buys locked up this week. Guess what? I get 2 weeks off from those teams. This week, I don't care if I win. Next week, I have a bye. So I can probably position myself based on the constraints, based on what's available, based on the trade deadline rules. I don't need to do anything. I actually have an advantage because I can sit back and wait to see what happens this week. And then I have another week of information to see if I need to fix anything for week 15. Even though I'm not playing, there might be something I want to act on, etc. But those teams are the ones I'm going, is somebody willing to sell me Amon-Ra? Is somebody willing to sell me Drake London? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
even if it's just a slight discount, because those guys may not play with this week. I mean, Amon-Ra's not going to play this week. But in week 16, he could be back and smashing. So, like, you try to position yourself based on what's best for the future, but the future is still only very short term. And then on the contrary, the teams where I need a filler, I'm not trying to hit a home run move. If I'm in 7th and I need to win to get in 6th, I'm trying to buy at just a bargain basement price, somebody that can squeak me in, especially if I don't have a deadline change. I don't want to pay a first for something if I'm the 6th seed. I'm going to pay a third for a 1 week filler. And if the 1 week filler gets me there, then I'll consider a bigger deal once I'm in the playoffs. But I've been hunting for tiny deals this week.
Okay. Well, this is probably bigger deals, right? But this is an example. I'm a 6 seed right now. My quarterback has been my second quarterback has been just it's spinal tap drummer. You know what I mean? Like, it's just bad. Like, every time I do something to fix it, the hole just collapses and it doesn't get done. So right now I have offers sitting out there. I've offered Bryce Young and Kyle Monangai for Jared Goff. That's just sitting out there. And then I've also offered Bryce Young and a 26 first for Jalen Hurts. Now the Hurts
are you going to get in the playoffs, or is it one you need to win this week to keep it?
I mean, I'm 6-6, and I'm playing the 7 seed. And
so you lose, you're out.
Yeah, and our points are separated we'd be even. We'd have the same record, but they would have beaten me, and I'm guessing they're not going to beat me by a fractional point. I think I'm like 8 points ahead of them or something silly. You know what I mean? Not enough that like I could take a loss. So if they beat me, they actually have more points than me. So if they beat me, they have a better record and points. They'll have the same record but better points.
I mean,
so I'm just trying to win. Winning I'm in is the important thing, right? And right now, it says I'm a 78% chance favorite in sleeper. Although I don't know.
Would you go parallel with that deal? And would you trade because I've made a couple of deals like that. I made a deal where, so best ball is a little different, but the playoffs we have in a couple leagues, because there are multiple copies, are starting this week. And so I've traded out of some week 14 guys just for literally parallel players for the week. I traded George Kittle and Hunter Henry for Dallas Goedert and Kyle Pitts. Now, that's the 2 for 2. That's basically I don't want the 2 guys with buys, and I'll take the guys that don't have buys. And do I prefer Pitts over Kittle? Probably after this year. Probably Goddard versus Hunter Henry. I don't really care, but the point is, like, I'm willing to do that deal literally just for 1 week.
Right.
Same with Rico Dowdle. I know Rico Dowdle's down, but like you would trade Rico Dowdle for a running back in a similar place that's playing.
Absolutely.
Same with now. I think when you get into the higher tier assets, I've seen some deals where people they don't want, like Travion Henderson has a buy. They need to get rid of him. And so sometimes those are ones where you get a little caught up in, like, especially if it's not best ball and you can set a lineup, like you don't need to hit a home run if you just need a weekly starter. Like, be strategic, look for specific matchups, go try to find, and have it in your head. Like, hey, I'm only paying a second for a player, no more than a second, 2/3, like whatever that is.
Let me ask you this. How important is it for you to move from, let's say you're locked in the playoffs, right? You're definitely in the playoffs. And there's a couple leagues I'm in where 1 through 6 they're already locked up. Not already, but they're locked up regardless of what happens next week. Are you pushing in to move up? Let's say that it's one of those leagues where it's really, really flat and there's 3 teams sitting at 8 and 6. Are you trying to buy there to move from possibly to 6 to the 3 seed?
Is there a deadline? I mean, that matters because the teams I probably want to trade with are also in the playoffs to a degree. And there's going to be an appetite for those teams to move. Whoever gets eliminated in the first couple rounds, there's going to be a lot.
So, in this scenario, we'll say there is a deadline, and the deadline is week after this week coming.
So basically, I can't see who gets knocked out of the playoffs and take their players, right?
Exactly.
I don't think so. Okay. You can always use the Dynasty Daddy Simulator. That will give you a little more of a true indicator based on the strength of your team. I don't know. It's a proprietary calculation. I don't know exactly what goes into it, but you're probably looking at like a 10% chance of all those teams that are that close. Everybody's probably at like a 10% chance or higher to win it. If I had a 10% chance to win it, do you want to push in? Like, I don't know. It depends on each trade, but like, I'm not excited to push in a major piece. You know what I mean?
I'll give you a real world example. Okay. Right now, I'm the 4 seed at 9 and 4. The 2 seed is 10 and 3. The 3 seed is 9 and 4. So there's if both those dudes were to lose, well, at least if one of them, I could get up to, to
the 10 and 3 team in points.
I could get to the 3. No, I could only get to the 3 seed.
And I don't care.
But I could fall to the 5 seed.
It doesn't matter. You're still playing a round 1 game, and you're not the worst seed. So that feels like one where you're tweaking to tweak. I mean, sure, if you can find a good deal. But here's the thing. There's a good deal in every league. There's probably a stone that is unturned in every single league. Even the leagues where you think have been picked clean, you never know what somebody else would consider doing. Even if we'll talk about it in a second. If you're a playoff team, are you willing to sell? For the same reason that you didn't want to buy, would you be willing to sell? League, though, I'd probably chalk it up to I'm either 3, 4, and 5. Unless I have an obvious hole that is going to be more than a week or 2, then I'm not doing anything.
Is there a playoff deadline?
What do you mean? Trade deadline?
That's what I meant. Playoff deadline. Jesus. Yes, a trade deadline.
I mean, if there's no trade deadline and you're already in the playoffs, but you can't get higher than the 2 seed or you can't get a bye, I have zero motivation to trade.
Okay.
Because I am willing to sacrifice that first week of the playoffs. So the team that's 3-6 or 4-5 or whatever the matchup is, if I can't win that, then I probably don't need to be buying yet. If I win that, though, then I know I'm in the Final Four with no trade deadline. That's when I want to spend my assets. I now have 2 playoff teams that are eliminated. And that's why I'm sure a lot of people don't like trade deadlines, but that's the week where like the Christian McCaffrey could become available. You know what I mean? He wasn't available all year, and he's available in week 16. And the team that just got eliminated, maybe they had him and a couple other players underperformed. He's finally available, and there's a 1-week window where certain players are available, and usually it's that week 16 window where the teams that were in the playoffs got eliminated. The 3 seed and the 5 seed got beat. And now there's 10 players off those 2 rosters that are available. They may not be cheap. They may not be players that the team has to move before next year, but they're on the market for the first time this season, right? Because that 3 seed was never trading away Derrick Henry. Even if you were offering him a fair price, he might have been like, I just can't do it. All of a sudden, he gets knocked out. Any first, he's yours. You know what I mean? Give me 2 seconds and another running back that's injured. He's yours. Like, he's available. So I want to have that week with no trade deadlines. I want to have that semifinal week to really get to work, because that's when, and Terrell put a question in here. Shout out to Terrell. That's when I'm looking at matchups. That is when I'm looking at like, okay, what are my odds I can truly beat this team that I'm going up against and how aggressive I'm going to be? What do you think?
I am captain. I never want to tempt fate, right? I don't spit into the wind, because I believe the karma gods, the karmic turnaround will be a swift kick in the nuts. So I don't potentially or purposely try to throw a game or lose a game because I want to set the matchup. Because one, there's too many variables into that too. Like, just because I have a better record than a team doesn't mean that their matchups aren't better next week, right? Like there's times where you look at the sleeper thing or the sleeper projections, and you might be a lower seed than someone, but you're like a 70% chance of winning. So I'm not smart enough to pull that off. So I won't do that. I won't. It's just too much. I think you're tempting fate too much when you purposely lose to try to get into a specific game. Especially, sometimes it's who's hot, right? And it's not all the time, but this is anecdotal, but we've seen 6 seeds that barely made the playoffs win the league. And the reason they did is because their team, the reason they are the 6 seed is they were mediocre the whole season, and then their team got hot. So their team, a lot of their players were on a heater. So I'm good. I'm not trying to tempt fate like that.
So let's talk about trading when you are a playoff team, because that is something that I think could be a huge advantage that very rarely do I ever hear brought up on other content. Never, ever really hear about how do you trade when you're in the playoffs, but you are in one of those positions where you are kind of stuck. Like, you're going to have to play in that first round game. You don't know if you're going to win or lose, and you probably aren't getting in the place where you are a clear favorite to win the championship, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then what do you do? Like, what is the move there? Like, do you ever look at a team that's in 5th place and you're like, man, I actually have one extra piece this week? I mean, I have an example right now where I have, and it's probably contingent on whether a couple players play or not, but it is a 0.25 point per carry league. And all year I've been flexing running backs. 0.25 point per carry. Like, anytime I have a running back that's getting starts, I'm either starting them or I'm, waiting to see when I can move them or whatnot. But I'm stuck. I think, let's see where I am. I am the 3 seed, but I'm 3 games back of the 2nd seed. So I'm 17-9. The 2-1 are 3 games ahead of me. So there's no way I can get higher than 3, but I can fall all the way to 6. So it's similar to what you were talking about. Like, I could probably fall to, if I lose, I'm probably falling to 5, but could fall to 6 based on the scoring of the team that's currently in 6th. But I'm in the playoffs, but I'm going to have to play in the first round. But I have this extra running back sit. Like, here's who's on my bench, Shane. I have Ramondre Stevenson, who's obviously not playing this week. I have Kamani Vidal, who I don't know what his role is going to look like if Hampton comes back, but you never know. Chris Rodriguez and Blake Corum all on my bench. And then I also have like Woody Marks, David. I mean, I have a great mix of running backs that in 2 weeks, if they're starting, I'd smash. You know what I mean? Jordan Mason, another one, could get a start this week. Like, would you sell one of those guys to one of the other playoff teams potentially?
Okay, so am I trying to consolidate to tier up at a position?
No. Nope. I am giving a team with a need. I'm handing them David Montgomery for 2/3 or something like that. And I just don't need him. I'm liquidating because I have excess. I'm willing to trade to somebody. I mean, and this is going to be more prevalent in some of the deeper leagues, but like the league we were talking about earlier, our co-managed league.
Yeah.
Like, if you were already in the playoffs, would you really care if you traded us a receiver for a second rounder? Or would you just say, I'm not trading with another team if I could help them at all? Like, I had a trade today where I was trying to trade for Jacoby Brissett, Shane. Okay. I was offering next year's 205. And they flat out told me, I'm competing with the playoffs. I'm not giving you Brissett unless you give me this. And he was their QB4. They had Jalen Hurts, Drake May, and somebody else. Like, they weren't even using him. They've captured 0 Jacoby Brissett. But they basically told me, unless you do the deal that I want to do, I'm not giving them to you.
Well, I mean, so that's game theory. Like, even him on my bench is more useful to me than him on your roster, giving you actual points that you could use to beat me at some point. So I understand that. And I am real stingy about trading with other playoff teams. I am absolutely not trying to do it. I'm not. I'm even thinking, like, even if I'm the 1 seed and it's the 6 seed or the 7 seed or whatever, the team that's locked into the 6, we'll just go with that perspective. I'm still not trading with them unless they overpay. Like, unless they flat out overpay, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to help them. I don't want to help them at all.
Don't you think a mid-second for Jacoby Brissett is close to an overpay, if not a square market deal?
That's about the regular price right now. Yeah, here you go. Here you go. There's my man, Mike Conron. My co-owner, my other co-owner. We're doing great. Second place, points for 4. There's value in playing keep away, and what can you do with those thirds that would actually help you win? Right. So if I'm getting a third, that is of no use to me. I'd rather you not get points. That's where we're at. You know what I mean? That's the part of the season we're at. If there's a dynasty trade, and Terrell brought this up earlier, right? I still focus on making dynasty trades. If there's a legit dynasty trade to be made, I'll think about it. Like, you need to get into the playoffs, and I have Jamar Chase, and you're offering me Amon-Ra St. Brown and I don't know, a very functional running back. You know what I mean? Javonte Williams or something, maybe someone above that. I think about that because from Dynasty's perspective, RSB's not crazy below Jamar Chase. Plus, then I get another starter. So it's got to really be in my favor.
What's Dynasty trade?
Well, you know.
Isn't Jacoby Brissett for a second and third a good Dynasty trade?
It is a good Dynasty trade, but
you just said not letting you have what you want is more
it's completely
important.
different. A second and Amon-Ra St. Brown are not even the same universe. They're different species of things. They're very different.
But all we see here is Dynasty trade emphasized. And yet you're so basically, I mean, I'm just trying to push back on you that, and I've talked about this for years, the extrinsic value, right? By you not giving me Brissett, there is value that you're preserving by not doing that trade. And that's not going to show up in Jacoby Brissett's trade price or his calculator price, right? That's why you don't do the deal. That is a sound dynasty to trade a quarterback 4 that you're not using for 2 liquid picks. Until it's, well, there's something to be valued that I'm not giving you by you getting to do this trade with me. Playing keep away. That has a value, right? What is keep away worth to you? A third? The second? I don't know.
In week 8, sure. Makes 100% sense to me. Week 9, sure. Week 10, yeah. Week 11, 12, okay. 13, I don't know. 14, go bang your mom. Not going to happen. I'm not helping you. unless it's skewed in my favor so far. Like, you're gonna give me a first for Jacoby Brissett. All right, have at it. You know, like, Shane, if you give me Jacoby in a second, I'll give you a first. All right, you've won. You've overwhelmed me. There's nothing I can do until we get to that point. Screw you. I hope you wither on the vine. I hope your other quarterback that you have gets injured, and I hope that you lose by 1,000 points. And that's to everyone. You know what I mean?
Okay, so then this is going to come full circle. Why wouldn't every non-contending team in here think the same way when you're in 5th place and you're trying to trade for their Jacoby Brissett and they're out of it? Maybe they just say, you know what? I want to make your life a little more difficult in this league, Shane.
Yeah.
I'm going to overcharge you by 30% because I know you want this.
Yep.
And I'm not just going to cave into you. Because
and guess what? I'm going to pay that. I'm going to pay that 30% tax because that's when I'm the bitch. You know what I mean? I know. I know.
Dynasty Daddy, and someone gave up a 28 first for Jacoby Brissett, and it was Shane.
Yeah. I know when I'm the I'm the mark in the equation, and that's fine, right? Because it's a perfect ecology. That's how it works, right? When I'm trying to win in the playoffs or get to the playoffs and win in the playoffs, I'm going to overpay for stuff. I'm okay with that, and that's the bargain you make with the devil. Okay, you know, how am I going to feel in 4 months when I have no picks and I came in 3rd place? You know what I mean? Probably not great. Worse than that, 4th, because most times 3rd place finishes in money. But say I come in 4th place, I'm not going to feel great, you know. So obviously I'm going to weigh it. But if someone's like, oh, you need to give me 2 seconds for Jacoby Brissett, guess what? You're getting 2 seconds. Congratulations. It's happening.
Yeah, the tough thing for me is like that specific team. I have I am in 2nd place. The team that I'm trading with actually is fighting me for the last buy. So that's, I think, one of the other reasons they don't want to trade with me. But the funny thing is I've rolled all year, and this is why I didn't do the deal. I also have Aaron Rodgers and I have Tyrod Taylor. Now, are those great? No. But it's a start 12. Quarterbacks matter a little less because there's more starters. So it's kind of like it's not a 2nd and a 3rd for Jacoby Brissett. It's a 2nd or a 3rd, or a 2nd and a 3rd for Jacoby Brissett. And it's really not just Brissett. It's the difference between Brissett and Tyrod Taylor and Aaron Rodgers because I'm putting him in over one of those guys. So I get why the person's being stingy. But I also have to look at, like, if I have to throw somebody in there, you know, I would take Brissett over those two easily. But in every single week in the playoffs, it's not a guarantee that he outscores them. So it's, what is this? I do hate Shane making the playoffs because he will make literally any trade to win.
So I will say this, right? I am aggressive, and I will not purposely. I will accept a loss on value, even if it's slightly significant. But I do, trust me, I do look at my roster and go, are there ways out of this for me? Are there ways for me to rebuild? If I not rebuild, but reload, right? Do I have players that after this year's over that I can split? Do I have players that I can sell for picks to try to reload? But yeah, when I'm in the playoffs, dude, it's all about winning, right? That's all it is. And then, like I said, I won't do it on a roster where it's a bunch of old dudes, right? Because I have no outs. And if I don't win, well, then I'm done. You know what I mean? I have no picks. I have no players of that are young enough or good enough to sell like that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want a team full of Chuba Hubbard and Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams and some other old people that I can't think of. You know what I mean? I don't want a bunch of old dudes like that. Oh yeah. Yeah, we are.
You know what league he's referring to?
No idea. I think it's either Fight Club or Blitz Brigade or Gridiron. It's one of those. I've just named 3 leagues. It's one of those 3. It's Fight Club. Yeah, it's Fight Club. What's funny is Fight Club 3 weeks ago, I thought I was out of it. But mostly because I didn't remember which league it was. I got confused with another one. Dude,
I thought of you the other day because that happened to you, I think, like 3 years ago. It's like it was like playoff time, and you realized like you made the playoffs in a league where you've actually been you've actually just been planning to be out of it for weeks.
Yeah,
it's like, oh Shane, you got in. It was like,
yeah. I had a league last year. I forget if I won the title or not, but I definitely went to the championship game where I didn't know I made the playoffs because I just same thing. Like I'd given up. Like I didn't realize. I think it was 0.4, and I got in by like 3 or 4 points, something like that. I literally got like 3 or 4 by very low, and then ended up in the championship game. It was hilarious. I don't remember if I won or not, to be quite honest with you. It was Justin Fields' Dynasty, if anyone's in there. I don't remember if I won or if I lost.
Well, let's talk about that. I mean, I know it's right on the precipice of the playoffs, so it's too late to do it. But after the offseason, or once the offseason gets here, you can propose rule changes and whatnot. Like, what are some of the things you like about the playoff races that makes it a little more interesting? I mean, we've already talked about the points. I like it where points are rewarded for the last couple teams. That way, you know, the team that looks like they're in ninth place actually could be in the playoffs, or vice versa. I mean, any nuances to more creative ways to do things? I mean, not that let's not turn this into a trade deadline debate. I think everybody knows our stance on that. That should be after the playoffs, whether it's all the way through or at least after the bracket is set. I like still being able to make some moves. But what else? What other creative things?
No, I love at least the last playoff spot definitely should be highest remaining points. This would screw me in a couple leagues, but it probably should be the last two playoff spots, if we're being honest. That's just my thought.
I like that too, especially if you have divisions or you have something arbitrary, like you know when I would want to do that? If there's no median, or you have divisions or something like that, to where it's less of a true outcome if it's just based on record. If you're playing a median, I don't feel bad for the teams that finish a game back. They had 14 weeks to get that extra head-to-head win. But if you have no median, it really can be sometimes, you know, a real bitch if you are a game back, but you had 400 more points against or something like that. You know what I mean? And you get squeezed out on record. So if there's no median, I would actually prefer it to be, like you said, two spots. Yeah. If you have a median, I can live with one. But what else? I have one that I think is cool.
Okay.
It's harder to implement on Sleeper because you have to manually track it. But I like the idea of after the buys, everybody plays all play for the first week.
Yeah, I've seen that, and that's in more leagues than I remember in the past.
It's just 3, 4, 5, and 6. Everybody sets their lineup.
Yeah.
And whoever has the most points in both. It makes it a little harder to win the league because, in theory, the best two teams are going to advance. You know what I mean? Versus you just got lucky in one matchup. And because I've been in leagues where, you know, you win your first semifinal or you win your quarterfinal game, and it's like, yeah, but if I'd have faced that other team that lost, he would have beat me or she would have beat me. So I like the all play. It means there is no matchups 3 through 6. Kind of loosens those 3 through 6, the pressure on like who you're going to play. Another thing I like, I think we have this in like 5 or 6 leagues. The number 1 seed not just gets a bye, but they get to set the playoff bracket.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
And they get to set it all throughout the year.
Okay.
So round 1, they get to set who plays who. And then round 2, whoever advances, they get to pick who they advance and play in the semis. So if you get the first seed, you're basically controlling. You could make it so the best 2 teams in the playoffs, not named you and the other bye team, have to play each other in round 1. And then when you see the 2 that advance, you get to pick which one you want to play. So in theory, I could be like, here, Shane, I'm the 1 seed. I'm going to make the 3 and the 4 seed play each other. And then the 5 and the 6. And then whoever advances between those 2 matchups, I get to then pick who I want to play in my semifinal. It really gives that 1 seed an advantage to getting to the finals, I think. But I like that. And then if you don't do that, I at least like reseeding.
Yes. Oh, Jesus. Yes. You know what? Because you have to reseed. Like I earned that 1. Like there should be some value to that 1 and that 2 slot, right? Besides the bye, I don't care. I deserve to reseed. I deserve to play the worst teams that are left. I kicked ass all year. I forget. I don't know if all my leagues do that, to be honest with you, but yeah.
Well, the reason why you have to be kind of diligent on doing it is because Sleeper doesn't do it automatically. You have to go in and like swap the matchups or tweak the bracket. Otherwise, it's just going to go with whatever the advancements were. So, yeah, Dan says, can you explain reseeding? Reseeding basically means if the first round, the 3 seed plays the 6 seed, and then the 6 seed wins, then that worst team automatically plays the best team. So it's just like the NFL, right? Like if the 7 seed wins the first game against the 2 seed, they automatically play the 1 seed, whereas the 2 seed wouldn't have played the 1 seed until the conference championship. So it's always having the best team play the worst team as you advance to the next round. So, and I see Terrell says this feels like too much power to give the 1 seed all of this. I mean, it does, but I think you can layer it. Like, you know what you could also do? You could give the 1 seed some power, and then you could give the 2 seed a little less power, but still let them decide maybe the first round matchups of the quarterfinals or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you think of? I have one more that I think is kind of cool, but it just involves some manual commissioning. Anything you can think of?
No, that's it. I like it. Like
A toilet bowl gets the 101.
No,
You like
I
that?
fucking hate that. That is the stupidest
I
thing.
think
All right,
that would
one of the
rage bait you.
dumbest things, man. That is the dumbest thing. Whoever thought of that and whoever does that is
Why is it so dumb though? That it doesn't it
because
just
it's
if
the
everyone knows it, shouldn't it make it so the middle always has to be diligent about how good their team is instead of just saying, "Oh, screw it, I'm tanking."
The reason that it's based off record is because the teams with the worst records need the most help. It's that simple. It is that simple. Like, I want a level of parity to my fantasy leagues, like the NFL. A level. I don't want everybody obviously being, even, but I want at least someone that finishes last to feel like they have some hope that they're going to get an asset that they can use to either, draft a stud player or they can move. That's just to me. I guess I'm a socialist, right? So that's part of the problem, or a communist. I don't know, one or the other. I want the teams that are at the bottom to have at least the hope of getting better, and at least some of the tools to do it. Now, if they decide that they're going to trade their picks away, that's on them. You know what I mean? If they're going to make bad trades before the season and they end up not having picks, well, that's on them. But they could have had the first. So no, just the toilet bowl to me helps teams that barely missed the playoffs. They're already good, so they need a 101. We're going to add Bijan Robinson to a team that finished 5 points out of the 6 seed last year, or 10 points out of what would have been the 4 seed. Like, nah, to me, that I just don't like that.
What do you think about the toilet bowl getting like the comp pick, the 113? You good with
I do
that?
like that. I like that. So I like that. And I'm in multiple leagues where you either get the 113, the 213. Some leagues it's like the 313. It's like, dude, just keep it. I don't want it. But you know what I mean? Like, you can't make me.
Those are the ones where Shane didn't even know he won the pick. Shane, you're on the clock at the 413. I just skip it.
Yeah, dude, I don't want him. I'm just gonna cut him anyway. So yeah, like Matty Boy here, his home league, whoever loses toilet bowl gets the 101. I conveniently don't have a starting quarterback in that league. Yeah, I don't like that, but I do. Comp picks are fine. I'm good with that. That because that does give someone else that does give the consolation bowl or the toilet bowl, whatever you want to call it. It does give it a reason for existence. Because quite honestly, if there's no money and there's no picks involved, I don't give a shit about the consolation bowl.
Yeah, I mean, I see Mr. Jordan Jackson says they're different. Yeah, I learned this the hard way a couple years ago. The toilet bowl in Sleeper, they literally make it so that the worst teams advance. So when you select consolation and toilet bowl, do not select toilet bowl. Because I mean, maybe this year it'll be better, but Sleeper is very inflexible. Once the playoff bracket is set, you can't like delete it and try it again. So do not pick toilet bowl because it'll be like basically the worst team will advance, and it's not what you want. So
no. Yeah,
sure
so
you do that.
Yeah, I definitely don't want that. Trying
to think what else there is. I mean, rules wise, another thing I do like that if you think the too much power, like Terrell was saying, is going to the 1 seed. Another thing I like is Scott Fishbowl started doing this a couple years ago. Again, you have to manually track it. Do you like where the teams in the playoffs get to use their Ryan McDowell's leagues do these too? You get to use your weekly average as kind of like a home field advantage against everybody else.
Do you get like an extra 10 points or something like that?
Well, you take the way you could do it would be you could take the average of, there's many ways you could do it basically, but you're trying to give a monetary advantage, not monetary, but in points. You're giving an advantage to the teams that have better records, just like you would home field. Because obviously there's no home field advantage in Dynasty or Fantasy because there's not real teams. But you're just giving them a little bit of a bump. So it's like, if I was the 1 seed, I'm probably right up there with the most points. And I get an extra above what you could do to make it less impactful. You could take the average weekly points for all the teams in the playoffs, and the teams above it get a little bit of an advantage. And the teams below it, they don't get hurt. But if I averaged 9 points per game higher in the season than the average of all the other playoff teams, then I get basically a 9-point lead to start the week. So yeah, Josh said in the chat, weekly average plus current week scoring. That's what the big redraft tournaments do. So it's not just what you put up this week, but you get your weekly average. So if you averaged 146 and the other team in your pod got 133, they have to beat you by 13 to advance.
Yeah. No, I don't know if I like it. I'd like it if I was the 1 or 2 seed. I don't know how I feel about it if I was the 5 or 6. And quite frankly, I only care what affects me. I don't care what happens to other people.
Because that doesn't contradict what you said 5 minutes ago about being a communist.
Being a socialist communist, yeah.
It's perfect for being a communist, Shane. When it affects you, you completely care about nobody else but yourself.
But when it directly affects me, that's when I care. But no, I like that. I mean, that's a good idea because again, that puts what's the word I'm looking for? Emphasis on doing well in the regular season, right?
Yep.
Like there is a difference between the 1 and the 6 seed. There just is. Like you should, you should reward the number 1 seed in some way, right? And the worst leagues are we have so many teams in the playoffs that the 1 seed doesn't even get a bye.
Oh yeah, we've done some roster reviews where it's like a 10-teamer, but like 8 teams make it.
Right.
And then the 3 and 11 team makes the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's like what's the incentive to ever do anything but compete?
Right,
you know what I mean?
That should never happen. It should never be that. And never. Absolutely not.
What about ones, and I don't have any like this right now, but I have a few where the playoffs are 5 out of 12. What do you think about ones where it's less than 6 teams, when it's like 4 out of 12?
That's interesting. It's interesting.
And I think you have to kind of agree on this when you start a league, obviously. You can't start changing it, like not playoff structure and things like that. No. Little things you can change. But I think the idea is if you're starting a league, and we're going to be getting to the point where you're starting leagues very shortly, try to make sure all these things work in conjunction with each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like one of the values of having some incentive for like not the 101, but if you just think about if everybody had to play for the 101 chain, what would that do? That would kind of make the middle of the league, even the non-contending middle teams, much less likely to be active in trading. You know what I mean? So it's going to probably drive the overall activity down. So if you already know that, you should probably create some other rules that maybe drive the activity up. Like just make sure all these things work together. Don't apply constraints on one side of the league, and then on the other side, have no constraints that make it so there's like kind of weird behavior with how people approach the league. Like either, I'm not saying make everything wide open. I am in a few leagues where there are no rules. Like you know what the rules are? How many players you can have on your team. But there are really no other rules. You can trade, I had one league where we paid 6 years in advance. You could trade 2028 picks in 2022.
Right.
Because you already paid. You know what I mean? There are no rules. There is no there's no governor to make sure that things don't go completely chaotic. I've been other best ball leagues where you can trade players after they've played. Everybody knew it. So it's like, oh, this guy had a 0. I don't want it in my lineup. Let me trade him away. You know what I mean? Like if you're going to do stuff like that, like you have to understand you can't just fix it when it's not intended to be how you wanted it to be. So just kind of make sure everything jives. And I'm sure we're happy to look at, and everybody in the Discord sure too is happy to look at settings and rules. And I think we have a lot of people that'll tell you what they think. You know what I mean? Yeah, that sucks. Don't start that kind of league, or don't put that rule in there. That'll be bad. Yeah. So,
well, and you also have, in the Discord, you have the benefit of, I'm just going to guesstimate somewhere in the neighborhood of 1 million fantasy years of experience. Between all of our different leagues, you know what I mean? It's just probably like a total of like 1 million aggregate years. So yeah, there's a lot of experience with different types of leagues and what things that have not worked and things that have worked well.
Wait, how many leagues do you have this year, Shane?
30 Dynasty. I think it's 33.
How does it feel to age 33 years in 1 year?
I
Those
mean,
are dynasty years. They're like dog years, but instead of 7, it's 33 for you.
How old are you now?
I am. I'm 42.
Okay, so time is shorter the older you get because it's basically less amount of your time relative to how long you've been alive, as opposed to
This
Anyway,
is just going to be a soliloquy of wisdom here.
Anyway,
just going to sit back and let you talk.
Anyway, I forget what the hell I was saying. Who created the Fight Club settings? Oh, Sean did. That's right. I forget what the hell I was talking about. What was I talking about?
That's like a 30-second just summary of your brain.
Where did I go?
I thought you were going to go on an awesome point, and then literally the next words where I forgot what I was going to say.
What were we talking about?
You said you aged 33 dynasty years, or I said that, and then you asked me my age, and then you just started going.
Oh, that's what I was about to say. I'm sorry. What you find is the older you get, the faster time passes. It's like that. Like, when you're a little kid, the summer literally feels like half your life when you're like 10 years old. Now it's like, oh, I went to the beach once, the summer's over. It's just, that's how time works. 33 fantasy years, it goes quickly. It does go quickly in one season.
Yeah. Well, we got
4-team playoff 2-week games. I hate 2-week games.
That was another one. I have 2 leagues where the playoffs are multiple weeks, where the finals are 2 weeks. You like that? The final 4 has to play each other, all play, and it's just 2 weeks. Most points wins.
I've enjoyed it in the leagues where I came back and won, and not so much in the leagues where I lost.
Yeah, again, back to the, Shane loves it when he's ahead 100 after the first week. Right. When he's way behind, he hates those rules.
I will say I don't love it also because I like the instant gratification of not having to wait 2 weeks to find out if I've won the game.
Yeah.
I do. There's something, the finality of Monday night and going, either, hey, I'm moving on, or all right, I'm dead. That's it. That's it. See you next year in this league. You know what I mean? Let me move this to the bottom of my sleeper pile, and I'll see you next year, guys.
Yeah, that is very prevalent in. You remember you used to play on MFL 10s or nothing better. And I got knocked out of Scott Fishbowl this week. You know what the second best feeling to do in the draft with Scott Fishbowl is getting to unlink it for the year. So it goes away off my username. So like you're still in Sniper Active, aren't you? You still alive?
I'm still alive. I actually just stole Joe Burrow from someone.
So you're in that's the final 4, right?
I think there's 6 of us left. I could be wrong.
Oh, okay.
I mean, expecting me to know things like that is just that's a fool's errand.
That's the league where you just show up every week, and if they're still tagging you in sleeper, you're like,
I know I'm still in the league.
Is still alive.
All right, still alive. Let's go. Matter of fact, let me just look. Let me see how many teams are left. There's 1, 2, 3.
I mean, it's 4, week 17 is the last week, so it's got to be less than 6.
It's actually appears to be 5 of us left out of how many started? 17.
Yeah, well, there was one more than the weeks, and that makes sense because you would play. There's 4 more weeks left, so there's 5 of you. So when you get to week 17, it'll be you and one other person. Heads up.
Okay.
So hopefully you like your chances.
Look, I'm 3rd in scoring overall. The team that's in first is 300 points ahead, but that's okay. You
realize there's diminishing returns, even if you're that far ahead. When you get to like 2 or 3 teams, like you have to be very specific as like who are your guys playing. I only want good matchups. I want no injury risk, nothing.
I dropped today. Oh, fuck. I should have dropped him anyway. I realized I just made a mistake. But I dropped Roma Dunze today because he's not doing crap for me. I dropped Dallas Goedert, and I had no tight ends on my roster. I had to make sure that I was allowed to do that, though. So, yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to start one. I think you're good.
Yeah. Yep.
Interesting. Well, we have 6 minutes left. Any comments you wanted to put up there that we haven't really gone through? Maybe a rapid fire, a couple players we want to buy down the stretch.
Oh, there you go. Any love for the 2026 RB class? Target any offseason stack on your team?
I mean, how deep are we going to go?
I mean, the free agent class is really good. I'm just looking at it right now on Spotrac. We've got some, dude. Is this right? Travis Etienne, Javonte Williams.
Travis Etienne's on a fifth-year option. Javonte
Rico
Williams
Dowdle.
was a non-rookie deal tender, so he will be a free agent. I'm guessing those guys may go back to where they are, but you never know.
Najee, Brees, Kenneth Walker, J.K. Dobbins, Kenny Gainwell, Dara Ungabawale. I'll pass on that. Kareem Hunt. Like, there's a good class. It's a good free agency class.
Najee has a torn Achilles, so I'm good on him.
Well, there's
but
that.
There's Rico Dowdle, who's going to be a mercenary for
someone.
Most money that probably somebody will give him. He'll be out there. Yeah, you already mentioned Walker, Brees, Etienne, Javonte, Rico.
Yeah.
As much as he's been kind of undesirable, I mean, Brian Robinson, Tyler Algier, Kenneth Gainwell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a decent running back class out there. Rashad White, that's another one that. Do you know I heard like Rashad White's like top 5 in I think it's either I can't remember what the metric was, but it was shocking that he was that high. But that's another one.
It's not an efficiency metric, is it?
It is. It is.
No,
it's like
really?
Yeah. Can't remember exactly what it was, but it was I don't think it was PFF grade, but it was one of those where you're like good running backs they're always higher than what maybe their fantasy production. And it was like, Rashad White was in the top 5. Maybe somebody in the chat knows. I don't remember what it was, but that's another one. Him, Brian Robinson, Tyler Algier, like Sean Tucker. Now, Sean Tucker's an exclusive rights free agent, so he'll probably just be right back with the Buccaneers. But it's a decent and I wonder how much love do you think some of these guys will get given how weak
that's
rookie class is. Travis Etienne's looking pretty good relative to the RB4. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's complementary football. The running back class sucks for, it's not a great class coming into the draft, but the free agency class is stacked and there's running backs of all types. It works out well. It's perfect, right? It's absolutely perfect. Like, you wish like free agency and the NFL draft would complement each other this way every year. Obviously it's not on purpose, but it's working out well.
Let's spend the last 2-3 minutes. Any just specific players that you are interested in buying down the stretch?
Oh boy. I guess no. I'm just
we can go as deep as shallow as you want. I mean, most of mine are.
I mean, there's
mine
players
are in ranges that people are not going to find sexy, but.
Well, I mean, so there's the obvious ones like Chase Brown, Javonte Williams, Chris Olave. Like, you'd love to get guys like that. Steph Diggs has been really quiet. Maybe Steph Diggs, Keyshawn Bote, but that's been all year. That's, there's a ton of guys really, depending on your price range that you're looking at. Alec Pierce, still criminally underrated. Love to add him. Christian Watson is a guy I'd love to add. I know that's a little high priced, but dude is absolutely balling like a legit wide receiver one on his team for the first time.
What about Pat Bryant? Is that a good buy?
I like Pat Bryant. He out snapped and out targeted Troy Franklin last week.
Trying to look right now. I'm looking at my offensive efficiency for updated through week 13. Ricky Pearsall, you think he's a good buy? His role hasn't been great, but this is one of the environments where you just never know. I want the top 2 options on the Niners. It hasn't been Ricky Pearsall, so that's the risk.
It's been Kittle and Jennings. Well, it's been CMC, Kittle, then Jennings. But I'm okay with that if it's cheap. The only thing is
second.
I mean, what's my other option? You know what I mean?
Well, I think the problem is like you could probably go buy like Alec Pierce for a second, Jacoby Myers for like you could guarantee yourself a better role. And Pearsall is still going to probably be priced like he has some sort of upside or future, but isn't he like 25 already?
Yeah.
Like it kind of feels like he's one you're buying with the contingent upside a little bit, but like it's not the range where I maybe want to pay for production I'm not guaranteed to get. So that's why he's a tough one. Like I want to buy somebody from that offense, but he's probably still going to cost a little bit more relative to what I'd typically want to use a second for. So anyway,
just get to the dance and you got a chance.
Yeah, that's my last advice. Like if you're staring at you're needing to make a move this week, like look for the most efficient move you can make. It doesn't have to be the most expensive. especially when it's at receiver, especially when it's at quarterback. I mean, we had the Jacoby Brissett conversation. I mean, Jacoby Brissett's the kind of quarterback that's probably going to outscore at least half a dozen quarterbacks that actually have value. You know what I mean? So, Josh, not a fan of that Pierce Hall. Yeah, it's the more the environment, Josh. Like, I have no affinity for Pierce Hall, but it's still, believe it or not, it's still a pretty ambiguous receiver room outside of Kittle and I guess Jennings. Yeah, Jacoby Myers.
I've seen that in there a couple of times. That's a good one. He's the wide receiver one in Jacksonville, even though he's only been there 4 weeks or so. And
Parker Washington got injured.
He gets injured every damn game. I get a sleeper alert that he's questionable. And Brian Thomas Jr. had 2 receptions. 2 receptions? Is that what he had? Yeah, it's Jacoby.
Yeah.
I've offered a first for Olave, and it did not get it done. It was a late first step. Anywho.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have that conversation here in a couple of weeks. I mean, that seems to be the pulse on the price from those obvious playoff 26 firsts.
Yeah.
You're already seeing they don't get as much as you want it to be, right? Like you say, Olave, I should easily be able to get for a first until it's a specific first. And the manager's like, nah, I don't want the 110. So anyway, this was a fun show. I mean, this is one of the best weeks for me. This is the week where you see some of the craziest trades. The next couple of weeks, if you don't have a deadline or you have a week 15 deadline, like this is where teams really start to plant their flags on. This is what things need to happen over the next couple of weeks. I love these weeks because we don't play with a lot of leagues with deadlines. Like these are the ones where you really got to tweak and you're playing for the 1 week. Like I got to win this matchup. I got to get here. I got to get this many points. So those are the fun ones for me. So good luck, everybody. There will be a Dynasty Deal Show on Friday. And like I said at the beginning, Trinity Show with Ray and I, hopefully tomorrow afternoon. If you're not a member, hit the join button in the description. $3.99 a month gets you all the premium shows. And we may have another premium show coming in the off season. Something we've talked about. Shane doesn't even know, but
I'm shocked.
When we get there.
I just show up to work. You tell me where to show up. I'm going to be there. I'm going to talk some football.
For sure. Thanks, everybody.
Oh, Jesus. I'm sorry. Wait, before we go.
Okay.
So we were grinding the tape this week. How was Cam Ward's footwork? I found that his footwork
episode
was not. You know what? Next week, I got the all 22, and I'll be breaking down some footwork. And the release point really, really concerning. So check us out next week.
Oh, all right. Love you, Shane. Thanks, everybody. Great chat tonight. Great episode. Fun one. Make those deals. Jump in the Discord, ddfantasyfootball.com, patreon.com/allgas. Get you in there, and we'll see you in there. Good night.